Waters are fast-moving.
Unlike other big rallies,
A bit earlier at about 7 a.m. A group from the Coast Guard.
Welcome to #PHVote 2013.
Today on Rappler, Senator Bong Revilla surrenders and is now in jail. The Sandiganbayan grants bail to the children of Janet Napoles. And Google takes down a blog targeting Filipinos in Singapore. Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. Senator Bong Revilla is now in jail. After an emotional goodbye the night before, Revilla heads to the anti-GRAFT court Sandiganbayan early morning Friday to surrender. As Revilla makes his way to the court, it issues his warrant of arrest. He is now detained in Camp Crame. Angela Kasaway reports.
Taking everything he learned from acting and politics, Senator Bong Revilla surrenders to the authorities, but not before putting on a show for his fans.
Sa lahat ng kanyang plano.
Before leaving for Sandiganbayan, Revilla's family and supporters pray over him in a mini rally in front of his house in Bacoor, Cavite. He waves at them, shakes their hands, and promises a happy ending.
Huwag ho kayong mag-alala. Hindi naman po ako mawawala. Nandito pa rin ako. At babangon tayo. Maaaring maikulong nila si Bong Revilla. Ngunit hindi nila maikukulong ang pagmamahal ko sa inyong lahat.
When he leaves, a convoy of 10 cars trail behind him. In the background, a mobile sound system plays his original song, Salamat Kaibigan.
Salamat mga kaibigan.
His next stop before Sandiganbayan, the Bacoor Church. Surrounded by family, he hears a short mass specially held for him.
Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo.
Revilla turns himself into the anti-GRAFT court. He says he is ready to go to jail.
Magbabasa tayo ng Bible, exercise, push-ups, sit-ups, ano lang, para paglabas ko dyan, cute pa rin ako, pogi pa rin.
Revilla is the first senator to go to jail over the pork barrel scam. Prosecutors say he is the senator who bagged the largest amount of public funds. Revilla says this does not spell the end of his political career, nor will it dampen his hopes of a presidential run in 2016.
Siguro, pag iniling ng taong bayan, tumakbo tayo, tatakbo ako.
Nawala siguro.
Alam mo, first time, nasa loob ng kulungan, maging pangulo.
In his movies, Revilla always turns in the bad guys to the police. In this real-life drama, he ends up turning himself in. Despite the twists in the plot, he stays on top of the situation. An actor for all seasons. How he'll manage to keep up with the gimmicks in jail is another matter. Angela Kasaway, Rappler.
Revilla is one of 3 senators accused of participating in a long-running scam where lawmakers allegedly diverted funds meant for development projects. Senators Revilla, Juan Ponce Enrile, and JINGGOY Estrada all insist they're innocent. The 3 say they were targeted because they're members of the opposition. But Justice Secretary Laila de Lima lauds the arrest as a milestone. She tells Agence France Presse we're accomplishing what some people said was a near impossible task, to have these big personalities who are perceived as untouchable finally prosecuted. So far, only Revilla and his staff, Richard Cambe, have been detained. 20 of the 54 accused in the scam post-bail, including the children of alleged mastermind Janet Napoles, former Technology Resource Center head Dennis Cunanan, and Budget Undersecretary Mario Relampagos. For our social media post of the day, Philippine social media has a field day generating memes on Senator Revilla's arrest. There's the Panday mugshot, a meme of Napoles, ENRILE, Estrada, and Revilla singing along to Salamat Kaibigan. A Game of Thrones-inspired meme with the famous line, I demand trial by combat, and a photo of Revilla wearing a shirt with a biblical quote side by side with Jesus Christ. The caption reads, "You already used me as a reason, you had to print it on your t-shirt." While Senator Revilla is now detained at Camp Crame, the arrest warrant for Senator Jinggoy Estrada has yet to be signed. Like Revilla, Estrada says he's also willing to surrender, but his lawyer, Alexis Abastilla, says the senator will file a motion for bail if an arrest warrant is issued. They will also question before the Supreme Court the Ombudsman's finding of probable cause. In a radio interview, Estrada says he will wait and see how things go Monday morning. Reports say he will drop by Polk Street in Green Hills to meet with his parents, former President Joseph Estrada and former Senator Loy Ejercito, before heading to Camp Crame. This will not be his first time in jail. In 2001, he was arrested for plunder, along with his father, for receiving payoffs from illegal numbers game Weteng. The younger Estrada was later acquitted. Facing his third arrest in a long and rocky political career, Senator Juan Ponce Enrile remains calm. Enrile says he believes he will be vindicated in the plunder and graft cases filed against him. The 90-year-old senator is accused of pocketing 172 million pesos, or about $4 million worth of development funds, in the biggest corruption scandal in recent history. Enrile says he believes in a justice system adhering to the straight and narrow path. He says he's confident the Supreme Court will rule in his favor, as other courts did in his other criminal cases. Enrile was first arrested in 1990 for his alleged participation in the 1989 coup attempt against former President Cory Aquino. He was arrested again in 2001 for the charge of inciting to sedition. Supporters of his ally, deposed President Joseph Estrada, had launched a siege on the palace in an attempt to remove then-President Gloria Arroyo from power. Enrile opts to keep his legal strategy a mystery, saying he takes trials in stride. He says as a lawyer, it's his policy not to discuss his case in public. The Sandiganbayan grants the petition for bail of two Napoles children. The court's third division orders Joe Christine and James Christopher Napoles to post a bail bond of 450,000 pesos, or about $10,000 each. The Napoles children earlier asked the court to defer the issuance of arrest warrants in relation to the graft charges against them over the fund diversion scandal. Whistleblowers say the Napoles children were involved in the siphoning of the Malampaya Fund worth 900 million pesos, or $20.5 million. The special fund was meant to help farmers who lost their livelihoods in 2009 because of typhoons. President Benigno Aquino fails to pick a new justice for the anti-graft court Sandiganbayan within the 90-day deadline. On Thursday, Malacanang returned the shortlist of candidates to the Judicial and Bar Council, the body that vets nominees to Philippine courts. But the council stood its ground, saying it will not change any of the names they already gave the president. On Friday, Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno insisted the list is final. Court watchers say the vacancy could affect the plunder and graft trials of 3 senators and around 50 others tagged in the fund diversion scandal. The vacancy is in the Sandiganbayan's 5th Division, which is hearing the cases against Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Another Chinese oil rig will arrive in South China Sea Friday as China and Vietnam trade accusations over an increasingly heated territorial dispute. Talks in Hanoi between Chinese State Councilor Yang Jiechi and Vietnamese Foreign Minister Nguyen Thanh Dung ended in a deadlock Wednesday. In a statement, the China Maritime Safety Administration says the new rig was dispatched that same day. It's not clear whether the rig will be deployed in disputed waters. Relations between the two countries deteriorated after China deployed an oil rig last month in waters near the Paracel Islands claimed by Vietnam. Beijing also accused Vietnamese ships of ramming Chinese vessels more than 1,500 times, while Vietnam released footage showing a large Chinese ship near the rig chasing and ramming one of its fishing boats. After meeting with his top security officials, U.S. President Barack Obama approved sending up to 300 U.S. advisors to help the embattled Iraqi government in response to the threat posed by the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS. Over the past week, the Sunni jihadists seized several key cities, left an unknown number of people dead, and alarmed Western nations which fear the establishment of a vast new terror haven. Obama says the American advisors will train and support Iraq's military, but he insists the U.S. won't send troops to Iraq again.
We're prepared to send a small number of additional American military advisors, up to 300, to assess how we can best train, advise, and support Iraqi security forces going forward. American forces will not be returning to combat in Iraq, but we will help Iraqis as they take the fight to terrorists who threaten the Iraqi people, the region, and American interests as well.
Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 7, Singapore police investigate an anonymous blog which lists ways to target and alienate Filipinos in the city-state. The post was titled, "Filipino Infestation in Singapore, a 5-point guide to showing displeasure without breaking the law." It was published in May on a blog called Bloodstained Singapore. Google has taken down the blog. The Philippine Embassy in Singapore urged Singaporean authorities to take action against the blogger. At number 8, former military chief Wiranto confirms Indonesian presidential hopeful Prabowo Subianto ordered the kidnapping of student activists between December 1997 and March 1998. 23 student activists were kidnapped at the height of a movement to topple the 3-decade Suharto dictatorship. Wiranto released a document allegedly disputing Prabowo's claims that he was acting on orders from higher-ups when he had the activists kidnapped. The document says Prabowo ignored the military's protocol and ordered a team to kidnap the activists. And at number 10, what do real-life scenarios from thousands of years ago have in common with popular TV series Game of Thrones? A lot, it seems, if we go by the recent study of Neanderthals. New research on 430,000-year-old remains found in Spain suggests big jaws were the first prominent feature of pre-Neanderthals. These helped them adapt to a harsh, cold environment and indicated the humanoids were engaged in vicious fights for survival and power among kingdoms and clans. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Construction on the world's largest optical telescope began Thursday. The European Southern Observatory, or ESO, builds the European Extremely Large Telescope in Chile's Atacama Desert. The ESO operates a number of high-powered telescopes in Chile because of the country's dry and cold climate and the lack of light pollution from cities. Construction will take an estimated 10 years. The first step involves raising around 5,000 cubic meters of rock off the top of Mount Armazones in the Atacama Desert. The telescope aims to give astronomers new insight into the origins of the universe and help search for potentially habitable planets elsewhere in the galaxy. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click how you feel and your vote comes down to the mood navigator in the middle of the front page. That crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that have affected our readers and viewers the most emotionally. If you take a look, these 10 stories have gotten the most number of votes in their mood meter, and it's an interesting day today. You see Bong Revilla. This is he actually dominates. His stories about him dominates the mood navigator. We see the issuance, Sandigan, the first issuance of arrest. Interestingly, 12% angry, 80% happy. Revilla detained at Camp Crame Custodial Center. Interestingly, 39% sad, 58% happy. As third, did Senator Bong Revilla lie? 12% amused and 75% angry. The story that's gotten the most number of votes is this one in the middle. Bong Revilla cries political persecution. This started last night. 29% sad, 43% angry. That read, bringing out the mood of the day. Today, most people are angry. That is a Friday. This is Rappler's Newscast for today, Friday, June 20th, 2014. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.